right, this is
All right.
Transmission Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. I say that because I wake up in the morning and it's like, okay, it's Tuesday, so I write the word Tuesday out. So it puts me in the moment, in the now. And then the number, and then 2025. I don't know about you, but sometimes I get in the past and all that junk comes up. And when I say 2025, it's right here, right now. And so, at any rate, we've been coming to you every Tuesday since March of 2025 with topics, people, ideas for transformation. And we are a growing global community dedicated to shift and uplift the planet. And I just wanted to say that in October, we've been talking and bringing a little bit of content about this concept of falling up. I think that's cool. And with this whole thing, there's a book by Richard Rohr, Falling Up, where he's taking these two halves of lives, where the first half of life we're like succeed, succeed, and the second half is about this fulfillment. And he also talks in there about struggle and failures. And I wanted to bring that little piece in here today too. So you guys are going to be thrilled. I am thrilled to bring you my buddy, right, Kit? My buddy, Reverend Kit Holmes, in the house.
In the house.
In the house, in the house, in the house, behind her piano, do 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 do, from all the way from Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I want to tell you a little bit about Kit, and then I'm going to turn this over and see what she has to enlighten us with. But Kit, since Kit's introduction to Science of Mind teachings in 1999, wow, that was a long time ago. Reverend Kit Holmes has immersed herself in studying and living the principles of spiritual consciousness. It's one thing to study, but when we're in this living it, that's for me is where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. So Kit has 6 highly acclaimed, commercially released albums of original songs that reflect them all. She possesses this masterful ability, and I love this, to hide spirit in plain sight. In her lyrics that encompass the heartbreak and humor of being both fully human and divine without ever sounding churchy. I love that. No churchiness about you. So you've been sharing your amazing gifts through keynotes, concert, classes, retreats, and life coaching in New Thought spiritual communities all around the United States since 2004. And Reverend Kit is an ordained Centers of Spiritual Living minister, certified life coach, and a grateful recovering perfectionist. Ooh, yeah. Who now makes her home in Santa Fe with Trisha, partner Trisha. So, music, live and online events, and creative collaborations that bring joy, peace, and healing to the world are Kit's ministry. And Kit has One Mind Wednesdays on Facebook, as well as all over. So, Kit, we're talking about falling forward. And come on in here, and perhaps you've fallen forward a couple times in your
A time or two. Yeah, I've been known to do that. I wouldn't call it forward. Um, I would go to the first half of life, falling down, numerous times, not falling upward, falling down. Um, and this is the brief intro with this topic. Um, the falling upward is now the second half of life part. And my summary of that is, I don't look at any of that, or I try not to. I have my days, but I try not to look at those falling down periods of life as down. Everything was a lesson. I can look at it from this perspective now of having done it enough times and gained the wisdom and gone through enough stuff to look at it and say, it got me here. All of it got me here. So the falling upward portion of life now is actually enjoying the wisdom, celebrating the wins, celebrating the, oh, thank God I don't do that anymore stuff. And the falling upward as well is, if I feel myself leaning towards doing one of those old things that did not serve my highest and best, I have the wisdom and I have the experience and I have the knowledge to say, no, I have a choice here. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this because I know it will be a self-abandonment. It will be a self-betrayal. It will be something out of integrity. Even though I might feel in the moment, I've got an inner teenager that just wants to, put her dukes up and go, I'm going to show you. It's the wisdom to say, yeah, that's what a teenager does. A rebellious, stubborn, whatever, just trying to find their way. And even though I am in my second half of life, I'm still trying to find my way just like everybody else. So there we go.
Oh, and I know you're sitting behind your keyboard,
I am.
and I've written multiple songs about this. So, what have you got for us?
Oh gosh. Um, this is what happens every time. If I don't write them down and think about the topic, I draw a complete blank. I've never written any songs. That's what the brain does. If you have a request, please toss it out. But I'm thinking of, you're gonna have to give me a minute, let my brain kick into a song.
You know what? I was thinking about On the Road. You know that the last
The
time we
road,
talked, you were on
road
the
that lies ahead.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, sure. And let me know. You can hear the piano and you can hear the voice, and no clicks, no technical glitches. All right, road that lies ahead. I'm traveling light now. I've set my sights now on the road that lies ahead. View is clearing, the call I'm hearing to the road that lies ahead. All those years I lived in fear are gone. Said goodbye. Put my faith in wisdom, grace, and life. There is a map there, it's one we all share, to the road that lies ahead. No room for sorrow in my tomorrow, on the road that lies ahead. Maybe walking out that door into a stormy night. I don't care, I'm going where my own sun shines. My own sun shines. traveling light now. Set my sights now on the road that lies ahead. On the road that lies ahead. On the road that lies ahead. Traveling light now.
Here you go. Ah.
Thank you. Thanks for suggesting. That was like perfect.
Yeah. So I wanted to take us in a conversation about creating a life of default or a life of design, and you know when and possibly like one or two tools that you have in your pocket that you bring out, and I know this is about visioning and then catching yourself, like what what would you like to do the next time this occurs, and like having it uh, I want to kind of say pre-programmed, but also like, ooh, that was a that was like a not there's been a start over a start over.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about that, if you would, and perhaps maybe a little situation or two, or possibly people that you have, over the years,
Mhm.
been in default, and any ideas or tools to catch.
Sure. The tools of which you are referencing, the word that came to mind was guardrails. I have guardrails now, where I don't go, veering off a cliff anymore. Um, that come from practice. No two ways about it. Practice. But it is also what before that practice is there has to be the awareness. You have to be aware that you're, oh, here's a situation, or I'm encountering somebody who I'm feeling a certain way about what they're saying to me, and oh, this is familiar, this is familiar, this is familiar, and my previous reaction, the default position, would be this is how I'm going to react. I'm either going to, the trauma responses, fear, flight, flight, freeze, fawn, those things, the automatic nervous system responses. So when we become aware of, oh, here is a pattern. Here's a pattern in my life that every time I encounter this situation, and of course, the interesting thing is it's same situation, different face on the person that is reflecting to me my where I need to grow, where I need to heal, where I need to have a boundary, perhaps a more solid boundary. The example that comes to mind immediately around that stuff was the way that I used to do music, because I came into the world with a lot of gifts and a lot of talents that I thought everybody had, learned that they don't. And those that don't often either want to take advantage of it or try to make me feel less because I have something that they don't. That is a typical human response. Our jealousy, our resentments, all those things, comparison, despair. I know you talk about that a lot. And we do in this coaching field and in this teaching is, we compare our insides with somebody else's outsides. Oh, they're successful because they had all these advantages that I don't have. That's a pretty typical one for all of us, right? So there was always a little part of me when I would feel that about that resentment, my own comparison to somebody else who clearly, does the work. They go after what they want. They consistently, they don't take no for an answer. They don't, that kind of thing. But what I got was, being very young with that, was trying to have a boundary of saying, no, this is mine to do with. I didn't have the language. I didn't have role models, and I didn't have anybody that taught me healthy boundaries. So my boundaries got crossed all the time. And so I became resentful of those people and distrusting of those people who wanted something from me that either I wasn't willing to give, didn't know I had to give it, or, just felt like I was being taken advantage of, because my inner part of me knew, yeah, this is something's not right here. But what I got in response to that was a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. And what I heard often was, well, this is so easy for you. You should just want to do it for me, right? That's what I heard a lot of, oh, it'll only take you 5 minutes. Well, so, but I didn't have the language and I didn't have the healthy boundaries to say, today, yes, I'm happy to do that, or let's talk about it, or you could ask me instead of shaming me or making me feel guilty about it. Okay. So now those guardrails in place that I have from practice, from experience, from falling down often, now I'm falling forward when I started to respect me and started to understand the gifts that I had, that I possessed, that I could bring. It also said, I get to be in charge of this. I get to be in charge of when I want to share or not. And I have a situation lately with something that's coming up with a family function, and the assumption was made, well, you just want to do this. And thankfully, I had the practice and I had the guardrails in place, and I had fallen down enough to say, my reaction, my response, my healthy response was an immediate no. If you had asked and we had had a conversation rather than lobbing in what used to hook me, and I'd say, well, okay, now I don't have a choice. And now I'm really resentful because I feel like I gave my power away. I gave into that old default position of, well, this is somebody that, is a family member. I'm supposed to do what they say. So I felt really good about that. I felt really good of saying, this is mine to say, and I don't need to give a lot of reasons. But the only reason I gave was, this is something that this is an event that is a celebration, and I'm funding this part of the celebration. I'm not coming here to work. I'm coming here as a guest and as a host
There
of
you go.
this event.
I love it. I love it.
So
It's and there's this pause button inside when you feel it, to put your hand on your heart and press okay, I'm going to press the pause button here and take a breath.
yes.
And for me, it's like asking myself, what would I love? And sometimes it's, what would love do here?
Yes.
Oh, love would be to put everything and all my energy into this, because love would be, hey, you're gonna take care of yourself here.
Right.
And boy, no is a complete sentence.
Absolutely.
I don't know about you, but I found people respect that. And go, oh,
Absolutely.
we
Yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah. And that was that was the response. I saw we were on a Zoom call, and I saw some body language that went, but I saw that person shift in the moment. And even though it's almost as if I could read their mind, of like, they stopped themselves and just said, oh, it was a surprise, but it was like, all I had to say was, I want to be a guest. I don't want to work. So that pause button, that also, as you know, Judy, is that is practice. That is, and it goes back to awareness. Here's this pattern. Oh, here's this pattern. And for those new coming into this kind of consciousness and mindset and teaching is, for me, I didn't know I had a choice early on. It was, this is the way you do things. This is the way things are done. Don't argue with me. Don't, it was like, I didn't know. I was very well into adulthood before I finally realized, wait a minute, I have a choice. I have a choice about my actions. I have a choice about my response, my, all that. It was like, that moment, like, oh, you know, and that awareness, of course, when you realize you have choice, it's very freeing, but it also is like, oh my God, now I'm responsible. Now I'm responsible for whether I'm happy, whether I'm angry, whether I'm whatever it is. So it's like, so there's moments where I'm like, no, I don't want to make a choice still.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
And I feel like this little thing is like, I am responsible for the energy that I bring into this day or this moment. And if I'm bringing into this energy of fight, I'll get more of that back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I would love to be a guest here.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there's always someone else that would be more than wanting to fill in that other shoes.
Right.
I
Right.
love that in the different groups that I belong, there's this what do they call it? Where there's no one person in charge.
Hmm.
That we give other people the opportunity to step into something they've never done before.
Yeah.
And we'll support them. Even
Yeah.
like we're good at certain things, we'll support them in learning. And isn't that what shifting and uplifting is all about?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And, to tag on to that is, um, the first time somebody has the experience of, oh, wait a minute, somebody's giving me unconditional love and support to do what I love to do, it can be terrifying. It can be terrifying because the default pattern is somebody else is going to decide for me what's best for me. Someone else is going to say what I should do. And then all of a sudden, that very present active listening that we do as coaches, that we do, to say, what can I hold for you? What can I support you with? And they're like, what? What do you mean? It's like, because there's no attachment except a pure desire to shift and uplift somebody else, because that was done for me. I know it was done for you, um, through communities, through fellowships, through all of those things, is that you realize I'm not alone in this. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is, I'm not unique. Everybody's got the same kind of, I'm not enough. I'm this, I'm not this, I'm not. Instead of, where our shift is, we start practicing the I am, and what's important with the I am, what follows that. If I am sick and tired all the time, and I claim it day in and day out, that's what I'm going to get. So we can do that for each other. We do it for ourselves, and we do it for ourselves first, and then we can share it with others and do that. Go for it. We can be cheerleaders. We can be standing on the sidelines going, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. You have everything in you that you need to do this. And if you forget, we're standing here going, hey, we got you. We're waving, balloons and flags and streamers and sparklers and, and all that along the way.
So
So,
I like another question in here because and something I know that you can speak on too is that connection with yourself, the higher self, and and God. I'm where you know and like, okay, well, everybody else wants me, whatever, and I have no idea who I am. I have no idea. I'm just a puddle of mud. And then there's that connection with the divine
mhm.
spark. Can you talk a little bit about that, the divinity, that whatever, universal intelligence, God? Can
Mhm.
you talk about that in this process? Yes, there's humans,
Sure.
but what about that divine spark?
There's everybody's had a dark night of the soul. Um, Big, little, many, numerous. I have, where to me, we finally get the ego out of the way, whether it's by choice or by force, where we're like, we finally throw our arms up and go, okay, I have no idea what to do. I surrender, you know. Um, it is in the willingness to set aside everything we think we know, or that we think we know, and go, I haven't a clue. Like an honest to God, honest to God. I don't know what to do. That's the beginning. That's the willingness. That's the key component, because when we stay in that, I'm going to use my intelligence, I'm going to use my wit, I'm going to use my talent, my cleverness, my coping mechanisms to figure this out and wrestle it to the ground. That is not allowing that divine spark to flourish. We just get in our own way. So for me, it is now it is a physical sensation of connection. And I know, again, with practice is, I know I'm not ever disconnected from source, from spirit, from universe, whatever you want to call it. But I forget in my ego and in my busyness of my day. But I've practiced noticing things like if I go outside and there's a certain stillness in the air, even if there's birds singing or there's a slight breeze, there's a moment where I can feel it physically and I go, okay, thank you. An important practice for me to stay in that sensation was that that it is usually the wind that is that, especially when it seems to come out of nowhere and then it goes away, right? That is for me that, especially when there's trees, and here in Santa Fe, we just went through the season of the aspens that just turned that bright gold, and you listen and it's just like, it's not like standing in rain, but it's that whisper, and it's like this, it just fills, so nature is a huge part of divine. I think there's often a misconception, and I think that shifting, that God, of course, for the long time, you could only find God in a church building. But we know that all of the mystics, all of the great teachers, all of all of them have all said, get out in nature. Get out in nature into something that man did not create, man or woman did not create, that just came into its own being. Go stand under the stars at night. Out here where I live in Santa Fe is like incredibly dark. And so it is easy, and it's a dark city. So like all of the buildings, any lights have to be fairly dim, even street lights facing down, so that they're keeping the light pollution at a minimum, because it's so incredibly beautiful to stand out in a wide open space. It's, like right overhead, here's the Milky Way, and here's, it's like awe-inspiring. And so the sense of the divine for me is anything, not just nature, but anything that prompts that sense of awe in me. My partner and I, there's like the 50 some odd third or something year in Albuquerque, there's a hot air balloon festival every year. And it was a few weeks ago, and we got up to go do the morning thing and watch the morning glow, and they call it a glow up. And it was the hundreds of hot air balloons in one space, and it's all timed, and it's all, for safety and everything else. But it's like as the sun's coming up over the Sandia Mountains, and it was a full moon, the moon was setting on the western horizon. It was just mystical and awe-inspiring. And when the first balloon, just like they started to fire up in that glow in the early morning before it gets light, just wept with joy and with awe and with wonder, because something, really, the physics of a hot air balloon are pretty simple. It's hot air, it inflates. Hot air is lighter than cold air. A balloon goes up in the air even with a big basket and people in it, right? And of course, there's all kinds of technology things that they do nowadays. And it's like, whatever. But the basic principle of hot air rising it's just like, awe-inspiring. So anything that we encounter or that we can find that brings us a sense of awe, like the aspens in the fall, or whatever it might be. The comet that I guess tonight we're supposed to be able to see one of the comets on the western horizon after sundown. Little things like that. The master teacher Jesus said, so be like little children. Approach everything with a sense of wonder and curiosity and awe, and you will find wonder and curiosity and awe in everything that you look for. And that to me is the divine, because it's the stuff that we can't control. It's the stuff we can't make. It's the stuff we can't invent. All of that is absolutely part of God as well. But it's the things that are so much bigger than us that we have no other than to just stand back and take it in. That's where I've gotten to in this part of my life, where the wonder was always there, the curiosity was there, but now it is such an appreciation, an absolute appreciation. Just like you have this beautiful sunset behind you on your backdrop, and yeah, beautiful. Same thing. Just practice giving ourselves the space to go out and look at the sunset. Okay, so you're fixing dinner. Well, if you see a little reflection of some pink in the sky on your kitchen wall, maybe set the spatula down for a minute and just go take a peek and see what's going on out there in the world. Little things like that, and it is the little things that just add up to an incredible sense of wonder. So
Yeah, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, and it's so um, important. I feel like right here, right now, you know, 2025, to take those pauses and to go out and look upward, and inward and upward. So this is really awesome, and we're in like this um, Octoberness, I say. The oranges, the reds, the bright yellows, and there's like the colors and the colors of the music coming out right now, and the colors of the vibrational matches, the vibes going on. So I wanted to to ask you, and I know in Albuquerque or Santa Fe that if you had and if you had like one message to put out there into the world, like a sentence, and it was your face was on a billboard, somewhere, and you were driving down the highway, and there's good old Kit Holmes, right?
yeah.
Right. I was telling you, out at 620 here, I'm driving down and I see Dolly Parton on a billboard, right? And it said, "Be kind to everyone," with her name, and it just brightened my day. Because I was so into whatever it was I was into. I look up, there's Dolly. So let's say we're driving out and we see Kit Holmes there. What is it that you would love to drop in the little pieces, your message?
My slogan, it's actually the one that I use on One Mind Wednesdays, which is we're all a part of the one mind, which means we're all in this together, so kindness matters.
Oh gosh, let's say that together.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say it again. I'm going to switch to gallery view and catch that one myself. Okay, so there we go.
Cool. So we're all a part of the one mind, which means we're all in this together. So kindness matters.
Yeah.
And love is the only answer. That's the other part.
Well, here we go. We're going to put some energy out here. Send it to Santa Fe. And what would you have us hold for you, Kit?
I would hold it. If I get to finish with a song, I'm gonna hold that this one gets out there, and because it's new,
Okay.
and Do we have time for that?
Yeah, let me just tell you that before the piano didn't come in, but your voice did.
Okay, I know what's going on. Then that's
Okay.
okay. All right, so
Yeah.
you can hear the piano now?
Now I can hear the piano. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I
Okay, so good, good, good. I didn't want to stop you before, but yeah, let's do it. Now I can hear the piano voice. And yeah, take it away, Kit.
All right. Thank you, Judy Matejczak. I love you. Peace, 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 be still. Peace, be still and know the light of God surrounds us everywhere we go. So peace, be still and know. Peace, 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 be still. Peace, be still and know the love of God enfolds us everywhere we go. So peace, be still and know the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and all is well. The presence of God watches over us, no matter where we go. So peace, be still and know. So peace, be still and know.
Yes. Thank you so much. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Peace, be still and know. Yeah.
Thank you, Judy Matejczak.
Love you, Kid Holmes. Thank you
Love
so
you too.
much. Once again. Once again. Wow. See you on the flip side.